California, the land of sunshine and opportunity, finds itself locked in a desperate battle against an unrelenting foe drought. For over 1,000 days, the state has endured a severe water shortage, leaving its landscape parched and its residents on edge. The once abundant rivers and reservoirs are shrinking, their lifeblood dwindling under the relentless sun. From the agricultural heartland to the bustling metropolises, the lack of water casts a long shadow. Farmers face dwindling yields and economic hardship, while urban centers grapple with water restrictions and the specter of shortages. Wildfires rage with greater intensity, fueled by dry vegetation and exacerbated by the changing climate. California's drought is not merely a tale of environmental woes, it is a human story, one of hardship, resilience, and the search for solutions in a world grappling with a changing climate. As the drought persists, so too does the urgency to find sustainable solutions to secure California's water future. The agricultural powerhouse of California, responsible for a significant portion of the nation's fruits, nuts, and vegetables, is facing its most formidable challenge yet. The drought has crippled farmlands, turning once fertile fields into arid landscapes. Crops wither and die under the scorching sun, unable to quench their thirst from the depleted water sources. Farmers are forced to fallow fields, leaving them barren and unproductive. The lack of water translates into reduced yields, driving up prices for consumers and jeopardizing the livelihoods of countless farm workers. The ripple effects of this agricultural crisis are felt throughout the state's economy, impacting food processing industries, transportation, and retail sectors. Iconic landscapes, once teeming with life, now bear the scars of drought. Lakes and rivers, popular destinations for recreation and tourism, have shrunk dramatically, impacting businesses that rely on these natural wonders. As the drought persists, the economic burden grows heavier, threatening the prosperity of the Golden State. Finding sustainable solutions to this water crisis is not just an environmental imperative, it is an economic necessity. The environmental consequences of California's prolonged drought are both profound and far-reaching. The delicate balance of nature has been disrupted, leaving ecosystems vulnerable and pushing some species to the brink. Rivers and streams, the lifeblood of California's ecosystems, have dwindled to a trickle, their flow reduced to a fraction of their normal capacity. Fish populations struggle to survive in these shrinking habitats, their spawning grounds disappearing. The iconic salmon runs, once a testament to nature's abundance, have dwindled to alarmingly low levels. The lack of moisture creates ideal conditions for fires to ignite and spread rapidly, consuming vast swaths of land. These infernos not only destroy habitats but also release harmful pollutants into the air, impacting air quality and human health. Species already struggling to survive face an even greater challenge as their habitats shrink and food sources become scarce. The drought serves as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of nature and the importance of preserving its delicate balance. The drought's impact extends beyond the environment and economy, seeping into the social fabric of California. As water becomes increasingly scarce, tensions rise and communities grapple with the challenges of sharing a dwindling resource. Urban centers, accustomed to abundant water supplies, are now facing the reality of shortages. Water restrictions have become commonplace, forcing residents to alter their daily routines and conserve this precious resource. The specter of water rationing looms large, raising concerns about fairness and equity in water distribution. Farmers who rely heavily on irrigation to sustain their crops face increasing pressure to reduce their water usage. This has led to tensions with urban residents who often view agriculture as a major consumer of water. Finding solutions that address the needs of all Californians, regardless of where they live or their economic status, is crucial for ensuring a secure water future for the state. Section 5. Trump's controversial proposals, A River Runs Dry. Former President Donald Trump proposed diverting water from the Columbia River to California, sparking intense debate. Environmentalists warned of devastating impacts on ecosystems and local economies. The Columbia River supports diverse fish species and a thriving fishing industry. Trump's proposals highlighted deep political divisions over water management in the West. Section 6. Newsom's Delta Tunnel, a glimmer of hope or a costly gamble. As California grapples with its chronic water woes, Governor Gavin Newsom has staked his legacy on an ambitious and controversial infrastructure project. The Delta Conveyance Project, a massive tunnel that would re-engineer the way water is moved from the wetter northern part of the state to the drier south. The project, estimated to cost tens of billions of dollars, has been mired in controversy for decades, pitting environmentalists against farmers, urban water agencies against rural communities, and even Democrats against each other. Newsom argues that the Delta Tunnel is essential for adapting to a drier, more volatile climate. The current system of canals and pumps that move water from the Sacramento-San Joaquin River Delta, the heart of California's water supply, is vulnerable to earthquakes, sea level rise, and environmental degradation. The tunnel, Newsom argues, would create a more reliable and resilient water delivery system, ensuring that water reaches farms, businesses, and homes even in times of drought. Opponents argue that the project is a costly boondoggle that would exacerbate environmental problems in the Delta and do little to address the root causes of California's water woes. The Delta Tunnel project represents a microcosm of the complex and often contentious debate over water management in California. Section 7. The Rex Block's Grip. A weather pattern deepens the crisis. As if California's drought wasn't dire enough, a stubborn and unusual weather pattern known as a Rex Block settled over the state in January 2025, exacerbating the already critical situation. Rex blocks, named for their discoverer, meteorologist Daniel Rex, are characterized by a persistent area of high pressure sandwiched between two areas of low pressure. This atmospheric configuration can block the normal flow of storms, leading to extended periods of dry weather. The Rex block that parked itself over California in early 2025 acted like a giant atmospheric shield, deflecting storms that would normally bring much-needed rain and snow to the parched state. As a result, January, typically one of California's wettest months, was exceptionally dry, with some areas receiving less than 10% of their average rainfall. The lack of precipitation further depleted reservoirs, shrunk snowpack, and heightened concerns about water shortages in the coming months. The January 2025 Rex block underscored the need for California to accelerate its efforts to adapt to a drier, more volatile climate. This includes investing in water conservation measures, developing new water sources, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions to mitigate the long-term effects of climate change. Section 8. Local impacts from Los Angeles to the Kaweah River Basin. The drought's grip is felt most acutely at the local level, where communities are grappling with the very real consequences of water scarcity. From the sprawling metropolis of Los Angeles to the agricultural heartland of the Kaweah River Basin, the drought has forced Californians to adapt, conserve, and make difficult choices about how to allocate this precious resource. Los Angeles, a city built on the promise of abundant water, is facing its own reckoning with drought. The city's primary water sources, the Owens Valley and the Colorado River, are both facing unprecedented shortages. In response, the city has implemented water restrictions, encouraging residents to reduce their water use through a combination of incentives and penalties. The drought has also exposed vulnerabilities in Los Angeles's water infrastructure, as evidenced by a series of water main breaks that have left neighborhoods without water for days. In the Kaweah River Basin, an agricultural region in the San Joaquin Valley, farmers are facing difficult choices as the drought drags on. The Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, passed in 2014, requires groundwater basins to be managed sustainably, meaning that more water cannot be pumped out than is replenished over the long term. SGMA is forcing farmers in the Kaweah River Basin to adapt, either by reducing their water use, finding new sources of water, or fallowing land. The drought's impact on Los Angeles and the Kaweah River Basin underscores the interconnectedness of California's water system. Section 9. Conclusion: Navigating a Future of Water Uncertainty. California's drought is more than just a lack of rainfall. It is a complex and multifaceted crisis with far-reaching consequences for the state's environment, economy, and social fabric. From the controversial proposals of former President Trump to the ambitious infrastructure projects championed by Governor Newsom, the debate over how to manage California's water will continue to be a defining issue for generations to come. The drought has exposed vulnerabilities in the state's water system, highlighting the need for greater conservation, more efficient water use, and investments in new water sources. As California navigates a future of water uncertainty, one thing is clear: the status quo is not an option. the state must embrace innovation, adapt to a changing climate, and find common ground to secure its most precious resource for generations to come.